I'm delighted that so many of you took time out to come out this evening. And let me just spend a little bit of time with you telling you about the wonderful things that's going on in Bedford Heights, Ohio. But before I do, I heard some of the introductions, but I always reserve the council for myself to introduce. I'm very proud of them. It is an excellent group to have on the team, and we play well. And so let me just personally introduce each of them to you, starting with Ms. Kathy Kelso. Almost that middle name. So, look here. So Kathy is president of City Council. And next to her, we have Kay Gary, Wendy Grant, and now the men in the group, Harvey Brown, Alton Tinker, Lloyd Anderson, and who I always call our newest member, Michael Willis. Great group to have on your team. I know you heard my wife's name mentioned, but I'm going to take extra liberty to introduce her once again. Look, if you don't have a mate that is on the same page with you, supportive of you, life is going to be difficult. So I am blessed to have Melva with me on this journey. She has been so supportive, and she has been there every step of the way. So, all right, so let me just start out telling you that, and you all know that this is a serious responsibility, being entrusted to be the mayor of a community. And I know I got 3 people in here, additional people who understand that. And I want you to know that I am honored and I remain focused on the task of keeping Bedford Heights a premier community. That is the objective. We desire to live in a premier community, and it takes a lot of us. So tonight I'm going to try to articulate to you some of the things we do, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the money. People usually want to hear a little something about the money. You know, mayors are chief executive officers for their city, and CEOs, we cannot survive in a vacuum. There is no way that I could accomplish the work of the people without the dedicated efforts of my reliable and trusted staff. Along with my staff and the council, we work as a cohesive group, which is what enables us to have the success that we have, to meet the obligations that we owe to the residents. So anyway, we're gonna try to tell you a little about what's going on in Bedford Heights. Our ordinance actually requires the mayor to provide council with a financial accounting the first quarter of each year. We couldn't survive if we only talked about our finances one time the whole year, a quarter. So that is something that we are always focused on. It has been my choice to take this opportunity to give this presentation in a public meeting where the public can come and they can hear something about our financial accomplishments and our thoughts and our plans. It is important for you to have some idea of what the mayor's thinking, what he's working on, and how successful is he at doing what he is doing. So we're going to talk about budgets. You know, A balanced budget is required by law. And if you don't balance the budget, you are likely to have some serious consequences. So we have achieved a balanced budget throughout my tenure as mayor. And although this will sound like a broken record to many of you, I guarantee we'll balance the budget this year. Guarantee it. Because we are going to do what's necessary to ensure that. Hold me to it. You know, my objective this evening is to share some of the intricacies of overseeing the operation of the city. And when you leave here, I'm hopeful that you will have a better view of what's going on, and most of all, you will have a confidence that the administration has your affairs well in hand. Now, let me start out by saying that Ted Gordon, my finance director, and I, we use a very conservative approach when it comes to revenue projections. We would rather be conservative and do better than the opposite. We take into consideration the current and future plans of our local business community, the trending economic indicators, as well as the significant developments taking place at the state and federal level that will surely impact local governments. Our revenue projections, for example, for 2018 was $20.8 million. And we actually ended the year with the actual revenue 1.1 higher than the budget estimate. So we ended up with a total of $21.9 million in 18. So of the $21.9 million in revenues received in 18, the majority of which comes from three primary classifications. City income tax is the lifeblood. You must have it. Our city income tax was $9.7 million. That speaks to the job growth and the companies that stay here and the companies that come here. The other thing, second one, was the real estate taxes. Our real estate taxes added up to $4.8 million. And because we have our own wastewater treatment plant, our sewage plant, we took in the revenue from there was like $4 million. Now, the sewage treatment funds is restricted to maintain that treatment plant. We don't use those funds for anything else. Now, the city income tax, the real estate tax, they represent the largest sources of revenue, of course. But fortunately, the city income tax in 2018 increased a modest 1.6% over 2017. Real estate tax, on the other hand, actually decreased slightly in 18, about 1% difference. So those two we rely on for primarily all of our general revenue things. In terms of dollars, the 2018 total revenue was only $123,000 higher. That's not a lot of money. It is a very small percentage of increase when talking about needing 21.9 million. You know, that 123 is about only half of 1%. Now, in expanding the frame of reference to try to talk about this, if the total operating revenue in 2012 was $24.9 million. As stated earlier, we had 21.9 this year. So you can see from 12 to 18 where we are. The fact prompts one to wonder how the city can continue to function with the trend of relatively flat revenue over an extended period of time. How do you do that? Who's got the answer? Okay, the answer lies in the other side of the equation. The expenditures must be controlled, and it is apparent that they have been. So let's talk about the expense side. Our total expenses for 2018 was $19.7 million. 19.7. Now, I could give you some idea of what that relates to, because in 16, the amount was 23.4 for expenses. You all writing this down? It's going to be a quiz. Look here. So I'm trying to help you with this frame of reference as to why we're where we are and what's going on. So 2018 expenses were down 2% from 17. The point I'm making is you have to have a comparison of expenses tracking revenue. And that's what these numbers indicate. This trend in reducing expenditure has been the key to the city's overall financial condition. And we must continue to find creative and tangible practices for controlling our expenses. And we will. You must know what your skill set is if you're the CEO. I am clear on what my skill set is. That's why I have no hesitation to guarantee you that we'll balance the budget this year. Guaranteed. Now, where does that money go? Okay, so just like the three comparisons on the revenue side, I'm going to tell you about the three comparisons or classifications on the expense side. Service. We are a service-oriented community. And everybody goes through here or lives here know that. We spend 51% of our revenue on services. $9.9 million on services. Now, services are greater than some of the easy things that you see and think about. Because in that category, you have things like, these are administrative functions, which the mayor's office, council's office, finance, tax collection, public lands and buildings, engineering, law, economics department, road repairs, and the favorite this time of year, snow removal. So that's what you spend your money on when you claim to be a service city. It's expensive. Now, the other thing, the second thing, is safety, police and fire. I don't care what city you live in. If you don't perceive yourself as being safe, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters, period. We spend $8.3 million to ensure the safety, to ensure that when you call the police department, try to get dressed in about 3 minutes, because they'll be knocking on your door. And we are very serious about that. And I have capable people who can ensure your safety. The other thing is community life. Here in this building, and I don't know how many of you have had the opportunity to really look at this building. You know, it's a $20 million facility. So, you know, when we're done here, I want you all to take a little time and really look at this facility. It's a wonderful facility, and we're going to talk about it a little later and perhaps give you a glimpse of what's really in here. What's really in here. Because this leisure time activity and senior-related activity and children-related activity, what we're really talking about is we're talking about quality of life. Quality of life. Now, here is the thing. I'm gonna just put this here. This is a marvelous facility, but the fact of the matter is we don't, as a city of Bedford Heights, fill it up. So what should we do about that? We should be generous. We should open it up to other communities who may not have the same thing. And that's why, you know, way back, even with the first mayor, we made arrangements to have the entire school system utilize this facility, because it would be selfish to have this much capacity and not share it. So another aspect of the city budget pertains to grants. Grants. Now, I talked about skill sets. I have some people who that's their skill set. They collect grants. And I'm going to share with you something about that. The old hotel that was on Rockside Road, one of the main reasons that we were able to work out a deal with that hotel was because of grants. And the Cuyahoga County Land Bank provided $200,000 to help with that problem. The Jobs Ohio investment invested $302,000 into this community to make that happen. So you can do the math. There is no question that that happened. That is why you see Universal Windows Direct facility over there. But it took a lot of people. It took the county. It took the state. It took the school. Where's the school folks? It took working a deal with the school. It took working with the company, because you can't accomplish much by yourself. You're just not going to be successful of it. So we are grateful for all grant dollars. And I'm gonna just give a shout out to the people who have provided grant dollars to us. I told you about those two. But we have the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency, which is known as NOACA. So NOACA provided $87,500 to support our purchase of 2 senior vans, and we're grateful. The Ohio Department of Education, we have a summer food program, and they provided $36,300. The Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, that's known as NOPAC. Some of you are actually likely on that program for your energy. They provided us with $36,200. As a matter of fact, you see those fancy new bay doors on the fire department? They look good. They look even better when you don't have to pay for them. Look, I mean, they look marvelous to me. Didn't cost the city a penny. Why wouldn't I love it? You know, and guess what? Shortly, when you come up to City Hall and you see those shiny new doors that's being made for City Hall, I'm gonna love that as much. Why am I gonna love it? Free. Everybody loves free. University Hospital of Bedford. They provided us with a life pack, which is a heart monitor and defibrillator. $32,000 we would have had to pay for that equipment. They donated that equipment to us. Now, we work with the county, and the county provides funds for after-school programs. $17,400 for after-school programs for children to be able to come in, and one of the big things that we do with them is exercise, tutoring programs, and other things. Because remember, we are here for quality of life. The Cuyahoga County Senior and Adult Transportation. So we got this $87,000, by the way, which did not pay for the buses. The buses was 20% more than that. But this $12,000 is provided to the city to help defray the cost. You burn up a lot of gas riding buses all over the place. And so we can utilize that, and it's really great. The Cuyahoga County Department of Development, $140,000 to put in a new street at Bear Creek and plant trees, And while I'm on that subject, for those of you who are familiar with Columbus Park, that apartment complex is being sold. So we have been very involved with the new buyers. Their company is Marnock. So we've been working with some people out in Colorado where their base is, and we expect to have this deal consummated real soon. Right, Dwayne? Real soon. We're doing the final inspections right now as we speak. And I believe that these are going to be excellent apartment managers. Every meeting that I've had with them indicates that they are good people to partner with. And so we're looking forward to it. You know, we have the Ohio Division of EMS. They came up with $5,700 for our EMS department to utilize. And another thing that we have is the Cuyahoga County, they have a diversion program. So they provided the police department with $2,500. And what we do in this diversion program is when youth get in trouble, what you don't want to do is the first thing is to throw them into that system. That is a no-win situation. So the police department have a diversion program that they take these youth through, work with them, and if they're successful, they don't have to worry about dealing with downtown. I'm telling you, that is a very good thing. How much did all that add up to? Well, I'm glad you asked. $804,000 that we did not have to take out of our cash register to accomplish. That's a wonderful thing. Now let me tell you about something else. Here's another thing that will absolutely kill you financially. I don't care if you're a city, a business, or an individual. Debt. I hate debt. I hate it. Those of you who have been coming here long enough know I hate debt. Interestingly enough, some of you remember back in 2009 when I talked about being left with this $5.6 million of outstanding bond debt. I'm talking about bond debt now. And I shared my plan and made a commitment to eliminate all bond debt in Bedford Heights. Is that not the craziest thing you ever heard a mayor commit to? I got 3 mayors there. That's a crazy, why would you tell somebody you have a plan, and not only a plan, at that time I gave them a specific date. A specific date. Here's what I said. I have looked at the bond debt, and we have a plan to eliminate the bond debt by the end of 2018. Well, nobody really thinks much about that. It's 2009. How does he even know you're going to be here in 2018? That's a bold statement. I'm here to tell you that as of December 1st, 2018, we are bond debt free. Totally. We have retired that debt. That is a major accomplishment. But everybody know my tagline. Come on, council, you know my tagline. We can do better. Oh, we can do better. And we will do better. You know, so our objective right now is to work on reducing as much as possible multi-year lease payments. So we continue to look for ways to make the city's finances better in every way. Now, I'm going to tell you something else that is one way you do that. I mean, it's fine to talk about these things, but, you know, you should have some supportive data as to how you did all of this. Listen close to this. Head count. Now, every single employee is valuable and essential for the operation of this city. It is also the greatest expense you're going to have. It is a huge expense to have employees, but you can't make it without some great employees. Meaning that if you don't manage your employee head count, your budget will be affected. Try to think about these numbers for a second. 2008, the city had 168 full-time and 109 part-time. 277 employees. We only have 10,573 people. So that's kind of out of whack. It was the payroll. I'm talking about just the payroll was $11 million. for just the payroll. I'm not talking about benefits. I'm talking about just the payroll. So now fast forward to 2018. The city now has 117 full-time employees and 56 part-time employees. 173 employees at a cost of $9 million. Now, that's 104 fewer employees. The payroll, obviously, was reduced by the $2 million, not including benefits. For example, if you took that 51 full-time employees just to provide them with medical, we're just talking about one benefit, it would cost an additional $1 million. $1 million. Now, we have tried as best we could to right-size our staff. They work very hard. We all work very hard. That's what we're supposed to do. Anybody disagree with that? Good. Now, when we talk about money, we talk about Economic Development Department. Now, we aspire to be proactive and assuring our business community that Bedford Heights is financially stable and business friendly. That's what we sell to our business community. We try to speak and meet with as many businesses, business owners, general managers, and executives as we can. We need to know if they're interested in expansion and redevelopment, whether or not we can assist them in acquiring finances for building improvements, land acquisition and developments. We also get involved sometimes with landlord discussions, because sometimes that's kind of tough for them. But one of the big things is striving to keep the lines of communications open and create a comfortable level. I want them to be able to call me with concerns. I want them to let me know what's going on, whether the news is good or bad. Look, business retention is very valuable. Working with companies that have assured us of retaining these companies by just working things out with them and talking to them and trying to avoid having them leave, we can identify $2.3 million in payroll as a result of just meeting with some of these people. Now, if they didn't have a relationship with us, they may have just pulled up and left and not even given us the chance to help them work that out. Now, all of that I talked about grant funding was money that we already spent. We had in our hand in 2018. But we're constantly putting stuff into the hopper because we're working on the next year. By the time you see what we're doing, we're already working on what's happening the next year. So, for example, we already have commitments for over $1 million in grants that is for the future. And one of the things that we are working to do with this $1 million is we're working to do something with what is known as the old metal dine building that sits there. It's got all kind of environmental problems, and it's going to take a lot of money to clean it up. Another one of the things we're working on is the old Arco building, which is down on Aurora, down close to Northfield. We also have some brownfield money that has been committed. You have to do phase ones to find out what's there, and then you got to talk about how do you get the money to clean the thing up. We know something about that. So we're looking down the road to see what we can do better. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening in this building department. 2018 was a good year for Bedford Heights. Let me say this. I am filled with optimism about 2019. Filled with optimism. The display of confidence that the business community has shown in Bedford Heights is extraordinary. It's extraordinary. Now 16 new or expanding businesses came to Bedford Heights in 2018, adding 165 or more jobs to our occupancy permit. I mean, we rely on what they tell us when we come. It may not be totally accurate. It may not work out exactly that way when they finally make their move. So we just remember, all of our estimates are conservative. You know, we're much happier coming to you a year later telling you we're $1 million ahead rather than $1 million behind. So commercial improvements increased significantly from $8.1 million in 17 to $12.2 million in 18. Now, over the past 4 years, $30 million in commercial improvement has been invested in Bedford Heights. 30 million. You know, and I'm going to give you some examples and a look at what we say. Remember, you can stand up here and say anything, but show me. Let me see some evidence. I hope you're seeing what I'm saying. We had at 26481 Cannon Road, we have Osborne over there. That is a cement manufacturer that's been there for a while. They will be expanding over there. That's one example. Over at 5136 Richmond Road, Boatsome, they purchased that property over there and cleaned it up. That kept them in town. They were here already, but remember, business retention is good. It's sometimes easier to keep a company than lose a company. Another thing over on Cannon Road, Calvetta Brothers. Calvetta Brothers is on Miles Road, and they've been there for a while, but they outgrew their space. They needed more space, and so they stayed here, and they acquired more space over on Cannon Road. Now, everybody knows this one. 5020, the Winking Lizard. The Winking Lizard, they have their headquarters here. But these companies that come here and grow and become successful, you got to figure out a way to keep them there by helping them to retain their headquarters in Bedford Heights. Otherwise, you're going to see a $1.7 million payroll walk out the city. That's a lot of money. Now here is one that is really excited. Timex. I don't know how many people have heard of them. This company relocated from Pennsylvania to 26800 Fargo in 2018. It's a subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway. Now, if you don't know who that is, that's one of Warren Buffett's companies. You probably heard of Warren Buffett. Not a bad guy to rub shoulders with. And so what they do is they convert raw materials into various titanium metal products. Now, they brought about 50 plus scientists and technicians to positions to our community with an initial payroll of approximately $2 million. So that's an example of a new one. Now I know, you all know this one. Universal Windows Direct. Now, I know you can see that. That's visible. You see it. So the mayor could stand up here and gloat over that all day. But that's done. We're off to the next mission. We did that. It is a beautiful place. About 190 employees in there. A beautiful place. They will be having a grand opening sometime in April. So stay tuned. We'll let you know. We want you all to come to that. So we'll make sure that you know when that is. They have their headquarters there, their warehouse, their showroom. Now, what a lot of people don't know is this company, they have, operations in North Carolina. They have operations in Indiana. They are larger than they appear to be. Larger than they appear to be, and we were fortunate to get them to come here. Nyman Property, they're putting an exterior facade and interior renovation at 26050 Richmond Road that they have a tenant coming to. $900,000 they're investing just to get the building ready for a tenant. Have you gone by McDonald's lately on the corner of Richmond and Miles? They did an exterior-interior renovation and invested $425,000. Now, Joe Shears, he is doing some things for Bedford Heights, Ohio. He's doing some things. The new building he owns, the over on Richmond Road, he put $400,000 into one of his operations over there. Did anybody have a chance to get any of those vegetables or whatever we had back there to eat? But caterologist, they provided the refreshments tonight. We paid them, of course. We paid them. They're in Bedford Heights, Ohio, over on Miles Road. They put $160,000 into their building to be there. Who likes Dunkin' Donuts? Anybody like Dunkin' Donuts? So they just put $150,000 into their building over on Northfield. And some of the other things that I want to share with you, just a few. And these come from Joe Shears. If you go down Richmond Road, you will see a few new companies over there. One of them is called Darco. Tile Light. Cleveland Clinic's dialysis center, Dino Palmieri's office complex. You just need to get out and ride around and take a look at the good things that's going on in your city. Because all of these, and here's why I'm so optimistic. Because all of these companies that I mentioned in 19 will start paying us, or we're in 19, but at the end of 19, they'll start paying us the full year's revenue. That's why the future is bright, is because at that point, all of the companies I talk to will have been here, and they'll start paying the full year's revenue. Now, let's talk about resident. What's happening in the residential market? First of all, it continues to rise. We had $2.6 million invested in this is improvements in residential. And I love it because the pride ownership and, people just like being in their homes and they invest in them. The building department took in $376,000 in fees in 2018. Now, one of the things that's helping us is the fact that we have Safe Build. Safe Build is a private company, and what they do is they provide building services. As a matter of fact, Mayor Blackwell is a customer of theirs, and a number of companies around. They have about 300 cities that they provide this service to. And so it's a good thing to have them here. Now, they don't work for free, but the fact is we paid in 2018, what did we pay them? We paid them $117,000 for what they do. The relationship continues to have a noticeably positive impact on neighborhoods, building maintenance practice, and standards. But we have to do more. We have to do more. And we're looking for ways to do more all the time. But let me give you some ideas of what's happening to the housing market in Bedford Heights. I'm going to give you a few recent sales. So on Tupelo, we had a house sale over there for $121,000. On Ridgeway, we had one sell for $114,900. Another one sold on Tupelo for $123,500. One sold on Carlton for $106,400. And here's the one. At Stonehaven, it sold for $249,900. That wasn't your house, was it?
Still here, Mayor.
You still there? Okay. Okay, don't leave us. Take care. Now, I say that so that I can show you also that you don't have to buy a $250,000 house to live here, because we sold one recently on White Pine for $88,000. And my attitude is whether or not you can buy an $88,000 house or a $250,000 house, you can live in a place where you can be just as safe as everybody else. And that is the bottom line. 92 homeowners relocated to Bedford Heights. Now, 26 homes, we keep track of what's happening with the homes. 26 homes are currently in a state of rehab, but I guarantee you, as soon as they are done, they're going to sell. Somebody's going to be waiting to buy them. We had a person who moved in here. They wanted a new house. So they found a lot on Buckthorn, and they built a brand-new house. So we can accommodate a lot of what people are looking for. Vacancies in 2017, we had 90 vacancies. In 18, we had 71 vacancies. And this is out of 2,762 single-family homes. That equates to a vacancy rate of 2.75. That's low. That's low. 13 homes in 2018 went into foreclosure. So it's not doing bad. It's not doing bad. You know, the occupancy rate in apartments is 90+%. People want to live in Bedford Heights, Ohio. You know, the revenue received through the housing department's effort, you know, $5,000. You say $5,000, talking about this is not a great deal of money. But that's because if you're due foreclosure, you've got to have a filing fee, and that way we can keep track of what is going on. You know, a lot of things take place in the housing department. They assist individuals and families who have all kind of disasters and all kind of issues. We help residents in the process of foreclosure. We provide advance and reference information to different county agencies who have a tracking record to help families save their home. We assist landlords and building managers and tenants. So we do a lot for those people. And as a matter of fact, my shiny new housing coordinator, standing right over there, David Bell. Brand new, and he is a great addition to our community. Public Works. Since the fall of 2016, the city of Bedford Heights has reduced the residential landfill costs by nearly $60,000, with Kimball as our waste management contractor. Now, it costs a lot of money to pick up trash, about $435,000 a year. And if we didn't do everything we're doing to reduce that, it would be far out of control. So we are interested in doing everything that we can do. So those recycle bins that we have out there, we appreciate it that you are using them. And we recycled 490 tons that didn't have to go to the landfill. You know, it would cost at least $20,000 to dump 490 tons. Well, guess what? That's $20,000 that we can use to buy a bin full of salt. And so every saving effort is important to us. Last year, people are always talking about trees and stumps and what have you. We are constantly taking care of the trees that's sitting on our curves. You know, so last year we cut down 60 trees that were dead or hazardous because they're on the lawn, they're our problem. Senior lawn service and snow removal, you know, those contractors have, for the most part, performed, I would say well, but I have some people in here who I could probably only get to say adequate. Adequate. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get them to give me a adequate, But in any case, that is something that we bid it out. This is a private contractor. We bid it out, and of course we don't take the gold leaf service. We take the helping hand service. You see the things that our engineer does out there. Our engineer is also involved in grants. They get a little grant money here and there. They don't carry on like you maybe, but we all have our skill sets. Look here, but our engineer was successful in getting that money to take care of Bear Creek over there, which saved us a lot of money. Now, in addition, out of Bedford Heights money, we put down $210,000 worth of asphalt repairs, and we put down $135,000 worth of crack sealer. Typically, we spend about $500,000 a year on street repairs because it's important to have your streets in good shape. Just a minute about community life. Our goal at community life is primarily wellness, relaxation, and a social gathering place. That's what this place is intended to provide to you. We're not trying to be a Planet Fitness, we're not trying to be a King's Gym, but we are clear on what we are trying to be. And we do that, I think, pretty well. It's, as I said before, this is not just for the residents of Bedford Heights. Our entire business community can take advantage of this site that we have. Our membership, if it was just for Bedford Heights, we have about 2,300 members, but that would not be enough to utilize this place. The statistics say that most community centers, only about 20% of the residents utilize the community center. 20%. I'm trying to convince them that the 20% is grateful, but they're paying for it anyway. Why wouldn't they utilize it? And so that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to get them to be more involved in utilizing this. We track this and we understand who is using this center. And the amazing thing is that all the people that I talked about, 25% of them happen to be seniors. So look, I say hooray. Keep using it, keep coming. Our annual camp is the pride of the center. Those of you who are around here in the summer, you see our children who participate in the camp. Just in case you're not around, Rod's providing you with a wonderful view of the children who participate. Not only do they benefit, but you see the young college students who also participate. That gives us an opportunity to employ some of these young people here. Young people should work. They need to work, But if their own city is not providing jobs for them, what's the point? So we usually have about 12 campers per counselor, just to keep the ratio well balanced on this. Now, don't consider this service a babysitting service, because these young people do an awful lot of things when they come to this camp. The fitness center that we have upstairs, I know it's not a King's Gym, it's not intended to be. But not many people can go up there and not work themselves as hard as they can with what we have up there for them. And we do have some plans to do more. So we want you to keep your eye on that. We have parks, playgrounds, our wonderful outdoor swimming pool. Y'all, some of you may be seeing that swimming pool for the very first time. Some of you may have never been in it. But for the people who are in it, they thank you for paying for it. You should go over there and do it yourself as well. It is a wonderful pool. Indoor pool. The indoor pool is wonderful. Utilize it. We also have residents that want to participate in a community garden. Okay. So we have a community garden out there. They can go out and they can have their space and, do what they do. Now, I have to tell you that a lot of those grants that I talked about came from right here. I talked about the 87,000 right here, talked about the 36 right here, talked about the 17 right here, talked about the 12 right here. That kind of sounds like somebody who knows how to do grants, and I am totally grateful for that. I'm not going to get deep into the expenses, but I'll just say this. You are spending $1.3 million to run this operation. $1.3 million. I need to see more people in here. I need to see more people in here, because if we're willing to spend that kind of money, that says something to you about our commitment to this place. I mean, look at it. Look at this place. I want you to walk around and look at this place. So it costs a lot of money to keep the upkeep of this place. Now, here's one other thing I want to talk about, which is not even a city function. But we do know that there are food deficiencies in a lot of communities. A lot of communities, there's food deficiencies. I don't care what community you're in. So we have this mobile food pantry, and our stated goal is to provide fresh produce through our relationship with the Cleveland Food Bank every fourth Saturday of the month to those residents who are in need of food. We have been providing this for 7 years and counting. 7 years. We served 1,600 clients last year. That's an increase of 23%. So there is more and more need out there. Now look, we do this here in Bedford Heights. But you know what I say? I don't care where you come from. If you're hungry and you need food, you're getting it if you come here. Because we are not going to be a selfish city that hoard what we have just for ourselves. We are going to be a sharing city for what we have, and that's one of the things. Now, I got to tell you this. This would not be possible were it not for Renee Cole. Wouldn't be possible. Where is she? But she and I could not run this without the help of the marvelous volunteers that we have. We couldn't do it. You know, I see one or two of them in here. Couldn't do it without them, and I want them to know that we are appreciative. And you know, you have to have the right heart to be able to serve people. You know, because people who come for food, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know. It's not easy for people to walk up and say, I need food. So you got to have the right people with you when you're trying to do that. And we have the right team. They don't get paid, they're volunteers. So I'm grateful. I'm going to give you an example of generosity. I'm going to give everybody in here a day pass to come over here and lounge around, walk the track, jump in the pool, jump in the whirlpool, lift some weights, meet some new people. Everybody that want to come, I'm going to have you come as our guest. One time, I want you to visit this place. I want you to visit. Not going to charge you, not going to make it difficult. So all I need you to do, somebody get me a sheet of paper, and all you need to do is put your name on that sheet of paper and show up at the desk and say, I'm the mayor's guest. I'm dead serious. I want you to be able to see what we have. I don't want you to have to spend money to see it. I want you to be able to see it. All right? Police department. I know that every mayor in the county will say this, Mayor Blackwell. I know they'll all say this, but they all are not true. I have the best police department in the county. I'm telling you. Look here. The best in the county. Now look, I don't just have the best. I have the most diversified police department in the county. What is diversity? Diversity is when you have black females and white males and black males and Hispanics and Filipinos. That's diverse. That's diverse. Because when we select police officers, we are not focused on so much who you are, where you came from. We want you to be the best based on the standards that we put in front of you. And so our expectations and our requirements are high. And they're going to stay high. We're not lowering our expectations or our standards to hire people. We're not doing it. You know, we have right now, shouldn't tell you all our secrets, 27 active police officers. You know, and that's because we had, since 2014, we had 9 officers retire. You know, officers, they get their time. They've been blessed not to get injured. I don't fault them for riding off into the sunset and retiring. So, you know, we have already hired 2 police officers in 2018. But it is It is something that you're constantly going through. So our staff is aging down. So if you see some of these guys out here that look like kids, show them a little respect, because I guarantee you they're going to show you respect. But it is a good thing that they are aging down. Mayors have a lot of jobs, as mayors know. So not only am I the mayor, the chief executive officer, I also have the responsibility of being the safety director. And it is my responsibility, along with the chief and our assistant chief, who are sitting right back there, to maintain an adequate staff to ensure the safety of the community. And when I say safety of the community, it's not just the people living here, it's the people who visit here, it's the people who drive through here. We don't police our city with the mindset of getting money. We police our city with the mindset of safety, period. That's what is important to us. Now, we hope you all have seen our K9. Have they seen our K9? Everybody see the K9? Everybody see the K9? Y'all weren't looking when the K9 was up there smiling at you?
Undercover.
If you're doing something and you see the K9, please do not run. That would be a bad idea. A bad idea. But I'll tell you, having a K9 in your community is a wonderful thing. It adds to the safety of your officers, and they can find drugs. Woo. You can't hide drugs to where they can't find it. That's a safety factor for police as well. So we are very, very happy to have this K9. It's just a good thing to have. Now, our police, I told you they're involved in this diversion, but they also have what they call a pack. So if we have young people in the community, we have officers that set up sessions and meet with them and teach them a lot of things. So it's not just about police and this. We have job fairs for them. We are trying to make our youth better. Now, here's something I should tell you all. Because I hear from people saying, hey, I got people parking on my street. They may be one of the 646 people that got that ticket. So just because you see them and you don't see us correcting that problem at the moment, we are serious about not parking on the streets. Please don't do that. Another thing that we want to tell you is, although fully operational, with the capacity to house up to 200 non-violent inmates over there, I need to make this crystal clear. This is not the Bedford Heights Corrections Facility. We no longer run a corrections facility. We lease the space out. We lease the space out to the county, and they are fully responsible for running that. So look, we have to look at everything as a business. If we have space that we are not utilizing, then we are going to find ways to turn that into a revenue generator. That's why right next door you see the adult daycare center, Keldridge Daycare. We rent that out to them. We don't run it. We just collect money. We take no responsibility for these things. And I say that because you hear some things that's going on, you know, about jails these days. We're not in the jail business. We do benefit, you know, because we collect tax revenue from all of the employees in there. And also, we house any Bedford Heights residents. So we are running an operation to the tune of about $200,000 a year with someone else being fully responsible. That's how you make money. That's how you make money. You know, now look, I'm going to tell you about the fire department. The fire department has been in this community for 57 years. 57 years. So they kind of figured out what they're supposed to be doing. You know, the total service calls that they had was 2,390 calls. This actually is a decrease. Where you see things usually going up, this is actually a decrease, only about 1%, but it's a decrease, meaning the trends are going down. We want people to be healthy. We want people to make sure that they are safe in their homes. All of this reduces the amount of runs that you have. 24 firefighters are able to take care of your community. We are in the process right now of hiring additional firefighters. So this is a continuous effort that we have to put on. Let me tell you, I could tell you about the wastewater treatment plant, but you know all about that. You visit each morning when you get up, whoosh, and you say, I'm glad they're there. But here's the key. You don't even think about them. You don't even think about them, but they're there. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. 19 staff members run that place 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and they do a marvelous job. Now remember, that's where I told you that $4 million came from in revenue. But here is the beauty. They actually spent $3 million. So you say, whoa, $1 million is not a lot of money when you're running a wastewater treatment plant. Because if something goes wrong, you can spend $500,000 without blinking. So we keep a healthy balance in that department. The other thing is, right now, we are looking at all of the things that we're going to have to worry about in the near future. Roofs, for example. So we have engaged a consultant to work with us on all of our roofs. These are flat roofs, they're prone to leaks. You know, but when you start putting a roof on these buildings, you're suddenly talking about $250,000. That's a lot of money. You know, so that, and when you start talking about a wastewater treatment plant, what we would like to do is we would like to get this wastewater treatment plant to the level of newness. Now, if you all would give us $30 million, we would start on that right away. Not going to happen. So our responsibility is to develop a plan and be working toward the accumulation of the dollars, get a consultant, figure out what we need to start working on first, and start putting money into that before we have problems. And that's what we are in the process of doing. All right? I'm going to give you a little, y'all know all that stuff we got going. We always have a little something else. And so we always give you just a glimpse into the mindset when you come here. It's what you know that nobody else knows because they didn't come. So my good friend and business man, Mr. Charlie Murata, is here. And I'm not going to tell you too much. I know he's getting nervous. What he's getting ready to say. He is the owner of the property over on Miles Road next to Lowe's. It's 35 acres over there. And we have an opportunity to do something with that property. And so notice I said we are doing our due diligence because we are optimistic that we're going to have some activity going on over there soon. Because remember, what do? I constantly pour stuff in the hopper, constantly. So I just want you all, we'll give you all more information as we get this finalized, but that's one of the things we're working on right now. We're also looking at the possibility of doing a deal on Richmond Road, which all of those things that you've seen happen over there from Dial and Cleveland Clinic and Nyman and all of that that's going on. We hope we can do something really big over there in the way of a new from the ground up building. We don't have all this yet, but see, you got to get a little something extra when you come. Because I know you all won't go tell anybody. So I can share it with you. Right? So anyway, thank you so very much for coming. I hope you have heard some things that perhaps you didn't know that was going on in your wonderful community. And I hope that you have a feeling of comfort that your city is in good hands. I'm grateful to be your mayor. And guess what? I wish to continue. So thank you all very much.